We're now going to head on out to Tom Thompson's viewing party in San Angelo. He's surrounded by family and friends. Ethan Purcell is also there tonight and has more with Mr. Thompson, the unofficial mayor-elect. Hi, Ethan.
Good evening, Bert. I'm here downtown live from Miss Hattie's, and according to the unofficial results with Mayor-elect Tom Thompson. Mr. Thompson, tell me about, the campaign's over now. It's a long campaign. Tell me how you're feeling right now.
For the first time in about 60 days, I'm fairly relaxed, all right? I think all of us as candidates that went out and had items on the election today, and there's lots of people with both bonds, everything. Today's the first time, or right now, it's probably the first time we've all sat back and take a good breath and we're relaxed. I mean, it's been a chore, and it's been one of the most educational things I've ever done, but right now I'm pretty relaxed.
What is it that you feel gave you the edge over your opponents in this election?
I don't know if I had an edge. So there was no landslide to this. It was 51%, all right? So there was no landslide, and I've got 49% of the people I have to convince that I'm the guy to do the job and move forward. And I highly respect, my opponents in my group, and they work their tails off. You have people that like your vision. They have people that like the facts you put out there. You have people that like I was fixing to say, the things that you've done and been able to succeed with, and they want to see you move with those and go on. And I have 7 years of sitting up there on the dais. So I think when you put all those things together, it was beneficial for me. When you're an incumbent, that gives you some educational advantages, institutional advantages that other people don't have. That's no dig about anybody. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, and lots of the people that I've spoke with and my opponents are very, very intelligent, very smart people, and they've got some very good issues we need to address. But in the overall run, when you put all of those pieces in a pie, I was able to come out the winner.
Well, talking about your campaign, you had a lot of priorities that you spoke about during this campaign: public safety, tourism, recreation, economic development, city staff development, infrastructure. With that in mind, what do your first days in office look like?
Well, first days in office, I made a list and I put it out there. We have to get the incoming candidates up to speed on what we have coming. We have to get our budget meetings ready for July and talk about our general fund and our enterprise funds. I've had some hot buttons come up, and the budget is not coming again until October 1, but we have to plan for it. Permits and planning was a huge topic, so we need to double down on permits and planning and make some improvements there and give them more assets to provide quicker things for the home builders and the realtors to go through. Economic development, I think we've got some really great things in the oven that are baking that are going to come out soon. We need to push economic development until, they're as pushed as far as they can. Go help bring us in, because that helps us lower our taxes for everybody. Water, a big one for me is we never want to be the city that runs short of water. I think they'll fight in 100 and 200 years, wars will be fought over the world for water. We don't need one of those to be here in San Angelo, people going, we want to take your water. We have to be very resilient in our pursuit of more water sources, and we have to protect what we have. There's lots of people that have talked to me and issues that I didn't know people had, and they've come in and said, and you're just like, I never knew that, but you learn a lot when you go through a campaign. You find out what hot buttons are. You're like going, I didn't know you were so passionate about that. But a person at the very front of this said, the best thing you can do is put people smarter than you in a room and let them come to a solution. And I think that's where we're going to go. And I love my opponents for being very intelligent people. We brought a lot of things to the top to talk about, and we'll get there.
Well, there are a couple other things to talk about, too. There was the city council, there's the mayoral election, and you mentioned it. You mentioned economic development. You mentioned building. Before we went live, you were talking to me about how important those two bonds are that also were on the ballot. Could you go into that a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. So I will tell you firsthand, if these bonds didn't pass, I didn't know if the city of San Angelo could recover long term. We have lots of people that look at our school system and evaluate it. When they come here, businesses look at it. The first thing they ask is, how's your housing? Well, first they ask water, how's your housing? And the third thing on the priority list is when they leave and go home and they're talking to a company about coming here, they have to tell their employees, the mothers, the wives, they're very concerned about the educational system. It's great that we can now say the city of San Angelo stepped up and they said, here's what we're going to do to develop our school system. My wife's a teacher. And, we look for the times where she has a desk instead of a table. And I think Dr. Moran and Dr. Brandon went through and they worked, the San Angelo Independent School District worked their tails off. I was putting signs out last night until 11 o'clock, and they had crews going around putting it up, and it's one of the best campaign things they've ever done. The Coliseum renovation, I think, is going to be absolutely fabulous. I think it was hard for the Stock Show Association already invested $1.5 million in it. And then right during the time they were trying to promote that was their biggest event of the year. So they really only had the time to promote it and answer questions about the past 2 weeks. And there's a lot of misinformation out there. A lot of people didn't know that it was decided to be a 20-year bond instead of a 25-year bond. It saves the taxpayers $9 million in interest. All right. They didn't know, and they didn't do a good job of getting that information out there. They took every step they could to make this the least cost way to use $41 million to put together a facility that's, if you start from ground zero, would cost $250 million, and do it respectfully financially to where the cost is not going to be a burden for those people. I think when you look all of those things together, that economic impact, and that proves to people coming here that San Angelo is focused enough to go, we're in it for the long haul. I mean, there's some short-term gains and losses we have, but our long-term objective is we want to be one of the best cities in San Angelo. I mean, the best cities in West Texas, if not Texas, places to grow, come visit, bring your kids, youth sports, the things that they're going to do with the Coliseum. We'll have watch parties there in the future. I mean, it'll be really cool. There'll be really cool things there. I hope we develop one of the best educational resource infrastructures there is in Texas. So I'm just excited all the way around.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Thompson. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I know you got to get back to your party.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it again. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It.
Well, hey, that'll do it for us here now. Live from Miss Hattie's, Ethan Purcell, Fox West Texas. Back to you, Bert.